performance in Disaster got her mini an ovation. It's Jennifer Simard who got her first nomination. She was the nun. So Simard, I feel like every day you're just doing some Tony something.
Yeah, there's the junket they call it, and yeah, there's lots of lunchies and brunchies and dinneries and
It's just
and all
nonstop.
kinds of stuff. Yeah,
It's such an amazing month.
which is a nice problem to have. I don't think I'd like myself very much if I was like, oh, you guys, I'm so
Exhausted.
I have so much to do. And I thought about that. You know, the people whose shows are still running. I thought of making that horrible joke to them. Oh, you guys look so tired. How are you?
Let me actually, but isn't it kind of annoying to always have to wear a different outfit though?
Not when you have a wonderful stylist like George Brescia who just picks things for me and says, wear this, wear this, wear this. And
Yeah, but does he also buy them for you, or do you get them on loan? And how much
some
sweatiness?
of them are loans, and some of them have been gifted to me. Isn't that amazing?
That part's amazing.
Yeah,
But it's just
so-
a nun's habit, so it's awkward.
It's funny, I have a habit now in every color. I just rock the oranges.
And cut. Okay, so I thought it would be fun. We told the story of Jennifer Simard and how she got the part. So Jen and I have known each other since. I feel like I met you when I was auditioning to play Forbidden Broadway, and you were rehearsing at the Theater East. Did you rehearse it there? Like the Connecticut version of it?
Yes, at Stamford, Connecticut. But I actually met you one trip prior to that when I was visiting friends, and you were playing down at Rose's Turn. That's what I mean. Like it was meant to be because we kept having these one encounter after another.
Did you sing at Rose's Turn when I was playing?
I did.
What did you sing?
I don't remember.
Don't say the word morning after.
What's that? No, because I coached that with you. You put that in my repertoire.
Oh, I did?
You did.
That was one of our audition
Yes.
songs, literally from a disaster movie. So anyway, but I remember Jen from Forbidden Broadway, that rehearsal, and then I coached, and then Jack and I wrote this comedy show together that was first called An Evening with Joyce DeWitt, which was a joke, because one of the sketches was Joyce DeWitt's comeback cabaret, but she doesn't show up for it because she has a callback for a Juicy Fruit commercial. And Jack is the dance captain, so he goes on, because I'm like, no one will notice, which makes no sense because he's only a man. But anyway, so we did this comedy show, but then people showed up thinking it was Joyce DeWitt's comeback cabaret, so we had to change it to Joyce is back.
But do you remember that she's back, she's back, she's back.
Here she is, boys. Here she is, world.
She's sexy.
She's sober.
She's sexy.
She's sober. Here she is. This is it. Here she is. This is it. This is Joyce DeWitt. You dancing?
Exhausting.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
Good memory. And her big finale is was it Joyce to the world? Those are the days. Okay, so
The heavy breathing, absolutely.
the heavy breathing after
Everything from a box stuff, just spent, utterly spent.
And each of those, so she did her comedy show, and that was literally like early 90s, and Jack and I were like, oh my gosh, she's brilliant. You also did your signature Leave a Penny, Take a Penny.
Performance art piece.
It's really,
It's
you can
so
see it.
stupid.
You can see it online. It's literally just her repeating, leave a penny, no, need a penny.
Need a penny, take a penny, have a penny, leave a penny.
And it's just repeated.
It turns into a demonic.
It's really, you should watch the video because it's captivating. But anyway, we did that. I don't think I got any laughs, but regardless, I was obsessed with it.
Zero. But I believed in myself.
And then, Jen did all these like off-Broadway starring roles and got multiple Drama Desk nominations, and then went to LA, which is annoying, and then you came back. But Jen and I have been friends all these years, and you just come to birthday parties, and I remember I sent my book to when you're doing Sister Act, I sent my book to your theater.
Yes.
And then finally, so my husband James wrote this off-Broadway play called Unbroken Circle. So we were running off-Broadway, and there in the audience one night, and I didn't go all the time, but I happened to be there when you came with John Tracy Egan.
Yeah, he was there. Well.
Were you not there together? I remember the two of you. I was talking to the two of you after for some reason.
Yes.
So I was talking to these two clowns after, and Anika Larson was about to leave Unbroken Circle to go star in Beautiful on Broadway. So there was an opening slot for a woman. So I saw Jen. I was like, "You're a person. Can you take this role?" It was so. But what I love, by the way, is the reason I offered her the role. It's like everyone does shows. All of our, once you get to our age, Jennifer, like a million people are doing shows, and a million people that come to my show, and like usually like I'm too tired to leave my apartment. But Jen like actually showed up to this off-Broadway theater to see James' show, and I love that it led to me offering you this role. Which, by the way, you were amazing. Was that your first like dramatic part in Unbroken Circle?
No, a lot of my experience in New England was doing drama.
When you were growing up?
Growing up. So in my late teens and early 20s, before moving, well, very early because I moved to New York when I was 22, but yeah, my late teens and 2021, a great deal of my experience was in Shakespeare and in straight plays.
What? Why? When you're so funny with such a great voice?
Because I think if you show me a happy clown, I'll show you a sad clown. Most every comedian I know can do drama very, very well. And I certainly think a lot of my comedy comes from a lot of pain. So it's okay. It's all good. And I had the same therapist work that out.
Oh yeah, that's our other connection.
Yeah.
Is we were both
Yeah.
we were in different groups though. I was in the same group with Faith
yeah.
Prince. That's why Faith was a disaster. So Faith and I were in one group.
And I was in with another Broadway celebrity who I won't out, except she outed me, so maybe I could, but I'm not going to.
I'll
But
give
we
you
used to
a.
joke that we could have our own softball team, like an equity league softball team.
But it's like mental illness
mentally
softball. It's all good. So anyway, so Jennifer came to see Unbroken Circle, which was a really heavy role, but you were amazing in it. By the way, was it fun doing that show or devastating?
It was wonderful. I loved playing opposite James Wesley, who's sitting to my left, who was
Thank you, Jennifer.
yes, he's not only Seth's husband, but one of the producers of Disaster and a brilliant playwright and actor. And he got to play my brother, and we feel sort of like brother and sister now, actually. And it was very cathartic for me because I was going through, my mom was sick during that time, and so having this dramatic role was so wonderful because it was releasing a lot of that emotion. I mean, I do try to channel it in my work, and so I would bring it to the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, there was a lot of comedy, but man, that shiz was heavy. So
Yeah.
then, cut you. That was the same theater where we were producing Disaster, and
Well,
and
we were about to.
we were about to do
Yeah,
Disaster.
yeah.
We made the decision while we were doing Unbroken Circle because we were like, well, no one's coming forward to produce Disaster, and I
Right.
said to Seth, let's just do it ourselves and let's do it here. Why not?
And I was
And
like,
it
what
was
about the sound system? So we brought in like a sound designer that was like, you can make this off-Broadway theater, have a sound system with all this different stuff. And when we originally done Disaster, Anika Larson had also played the nun. Weirdly, like Anika Larson was like connected. And she was doing beautiful, so we needed to get another nun. And I was like, Jennifer, you're a person.
Yeah.
You take the role.
And didn't Anne Harada do the nun once?
Anne
Am
had done the
am
reading of it in my
That's
apartment.
right.
But she was doing, I think, Les Mis at the time.
Right. And
So I was like, I need
lucky
s-
me. And
No.
that's where I saw it with John. John and I saw the Disaster of the Triad.
With Anika, though. That was Anika.
Yes, that's right.
So, but I knew that Jennifer was really funny, and I knew she had a crazy high belt, which were the two things you needed for the nun. So I was like, Jennifer, you do the nun. And I really did not know that Jennifer was going to put this crazy, amazing, brilliant spin on it. Because kind of all the roles in Disaster are funny, but like Jennifer found this way to make the nun such a standout role by taking lines that were, by the way, 100% not funny, like literally the word the. Like, and I'm not even joking, like, I mean, for instance, in the show, Faith Prince played Shirley, and she kind of suspects that maybe Jennifer Simard, the nun, has a gambling addiction, and because she's acting crazy. And she basically says, before you were a nun, did you ever stray? And the line is just, I've always wanted to be a nun, I've always loved Jesus. That's the line. There was no comedy, and it was just to kind of set it up. But Jennifer found this crazy spin where she decided that the nun it was such a bad nun, she didn't even know how to pronounce Jesus. She read it phonetically, so how would you read that line? So I'd say, before you were a nun, did you ever stray?
Never. I've always wanted to be a nun, and I've always loved Jesus.
It's such a weird line reading.
But it makes perfect sense.
It does make but it's so not a
Terrible. U.S. I know that means us. That's spelled us, so it must be Jesus. Like, that's literally... Well, because I said to Seth that in my mind, she became a nun because she thought it would cure her gambling addiction, which is...
Oh, yeah, 100%. But didn't she ever hear anyone else pronounce the word Jesus?
I think no. Or like, remember she screws up her songs that in Matthew. No, it was Luke,
Right.
12:17. I said to Seth, someone think about this. Someone had to graduate last from med school. Think about that, So someone has to be the worst nun, and it's me, you guys.
And then when I saw Jennifer, when she starred in Spelling Bee, actually that's when James first saw her. I
That's when I
said,
first met Jennifer.
right.
I said, you have to see my friend Jennifer. She's starring in Spelling Bee. She's effing hilarious. We went to go see her. And Jennifer would have these hilarious blank-faced lines. And what she would do is she was Rona, the teacher. She'd always be like weirdly like sharpening her pencil after her comedy line. And I was like, wait, is that take like riding the laugh? So describe how you came up with that. I'm obsessed with it.
What you mean, sharpening the pencil?
Or any of those
Or anything.
bits.
So we had like a Purell bottle on stage. Sometimes I'd Purell my hands, or I'd sip water. And I said to Seth, well, I'd like to take credit, but now that you mention it, I think it's sort of the B. Arthur School of acting, where you you drop you do the deadpan joke, and then you occupy yourself with business as though with an arched brow, like I didn't mean that to be funny. If you want to laugh, that's fine. I'm just doing my business. I'm just going right around my business. So you pick the lint off the sweater.
That's signature.
And I said I'm obsessed with that Golden Girls episode where they have the flu, and one of them comes in. I think it was Betty White. She's like, "Do we have any more orange juice?" And B pours, like literally is looking at the end of it, pours it out, and just says, "No, we're rolled out." And, and then she looks away and
drinks it. So after the nun, she had these amazing lines as the nun, and she kept doing these amazing takes where she kept basically turning her head around, and I was like, what is the subtext of that?
Oh yes, looking around. It's like in that. Roger Bart used to like that too. But I would look around, and he said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, I'm looking to see if anyone from the convent followed me to the casino." It makes
a good way to fill the laughs. Just looking. So anyway, Jen did the part off Broadway and got these amazing reviews, and then I'm sure I've told the story before, but the point is her big song was. Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and brought down the house, and it was it's the most brilliant song in the world, and her performance is unbelievable, and it was all about her giving herself over to the slot machine. So cut to, we go to Broadway, and...
Well, before we found out we were going to Broadway, we knew that there were possible problems in getting the rights to the song.
Right, we knew there was maybe problems, but I really wasn't particularly worried. But then we get the theater for Broadway, and then we really begin to hear, there are definite problems with some songs, specifically Signed, Sealed, Delivered. So we're getting yes and everything, but not Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Then James happens to run into Jennifer in November. Remember when you were getting on the train?
Beginning of November, and Jennifer and I are walking to the train. The announcement that we were going to Broadway was the day before, and Jennifer said, just out of the blue, do you remember us walking? What did you say?
I guess I don't remember. Hey, you've secured the rights for the song, right?
Yeah, just randomly, because she didn't know.
Just out of the blue.
No one in the cast knew there any song problems, but randomly was like, "You've secured the rights for the songs, right?" And James like, "Yes, me." So uncomfortable because he completely
looked at Jennifer in the eyes and lied to her.
Because what's the point of telling her? What's she gonna do?
I didn't want to. There was nothing that we could do right then, and we had a backup.
No, well, not necessarily, but we knew that we had other songs we were thinking of, but really there was nothing Jennifer could do. It's not like she could call Stevie Wonder. I knew that if anyone was going to have any kind of pull, it was maybe me through my weird connections.
And I didn't want to take away from the moment of the joy that we were going to Broadway, and it was, a celebration for all of us. Why should I bring Jennifer down?
Yeah, so we have every song perfectly signed, still delivered. So cut to, we really exhausted every opportunity to get signed, delivered, and they were beyond, absolutely and beyond not. And it really was the highlight of Act 1. So, but I really, like James said, I kind of did have a song in the back of my head. I was like, you know what, we could just do Heaven Knows by Donna Summer, because it's Heaven Knows. And I'm it's kind of about the slot machine, I'm never going to leave you. And the word heaven is in it, so it's none. I was I think I could really make it work. And James was but does it have the same kind of crazy, amazing high belting as Signed, Sealed, Delivered? And I'm no, but I'm I can make it work. So I was sort of it's all good, but not really worrying about it. So then finally we 100% lose the rights, and I'm God, we've got to tell Jennifer. And James is let me just scour these lists of 70 songs. And I was why are you looking? I told you the decision was made. We're doing Heaven Knows. And I think I literally videotaped myself singing it. I'm you can ride the slot machine like this. I was literally trying to come up with bits for Jennifer. I literally have that video somewhere. So then finally James, completely defying me, keeps looking at songs from the 70s and suggests You Light Up My Life. No, just kidding. We were at Starbucks visiting my mom, right?
Yeah.
So
helping her move into her new co-op from her house, and I was in the back seat of the car, and I found Never Can Say Goodbye. And first it was done, it literally began in 1970, looking at all the top 10 songs up through the 70s. And when I saw Never Can Say Goodbye, I looked at the lyrics and thought, well, that's good. The lyrics are perfect, and they match what she needs in this moment of the show. But the groove wasn't quite, it isn't...
Well, no, first he said, do you think it could work? And I said, oh my God, you're right, this song totally works. So I was totally at peace with it. But like James said, the groove wasn't really perfect, but I was that's the song. So I knew it as a Michael Jackson song, as being never can say, kind of like a slow groove. So then cut to, James of course keeps defying me and keeps researching the song.
1971, 72, 73, 74, up to Gloria Gaynor's version.
The disco version, which I had no idea existed. So then he played with the disco version, and I was oh my God, what if I combine it? So I do the kind of the slow groove at the beginning, but then instead of, don't wanna let you go, I never can say we go, don't wanna let you go. I never can say goodbye more. And it becomes a disco song. So I kind of had it in my head. I'm like, I had the arrangement in my head. And I called Jennifer. James was like, should I drop the bomb? And I said, I'll do it. So it was
The
a
night
gift.
before Thanksgiving.
Night before
I was
Thanksgiving.
in Texas visiting my in-laws.
So I'm like, I gotta do
Cooking,
it. So
I'm
I
making,
called
like,
Jennifer, and I was
potatoes.
basically like, rip the Band-Aid off. So Jennifer, what was your version of the phone call?
My version of the phone call was Seth saying, "Hi Jennifer, I've got some news. It's really happening, so you have one day to get over it, but then you really must because it's really happening."
Literally, because I have that theory that, you know, you
I was
don't,
like,
if something bad happens to you, you're allowed one day being devastated, but then you have to move forward. So I'm like, the rights were pulled for Signed, Sealed, Delivered. I'm like, be devastated for the next day. But I said, we have a replacement song, and it's going to work out. And she was like, can I be part of the arrangement of the new song? And I said, yes, of course you can be part of the arrangement of the new song. And then basically, but I really was
Yeah.
at peace. I was like, I'm telling you it's going to work out.
Then I
So
stood, and it was in the hotel. I was in the motel room that night. I didn't get much sleep, and I remember calling. I think I called you, James, and I said, "I just want you to know that we can either make it, you know, we can either we can like curl up and die, or we
Right.
can make it better, and we're gonna make it better. We're gonna make it better."
that I thought was, by the way, pushing it. I was like, okay, now she sounds crazy. Because I was like, that's a good song.
I
But
was
I'm like,
devastated.
yeah, but I was thinking, how can we make it better? I was like, it's going to be a good song, but I was like, she's kind of crazy thinking we're ever going to make it better than Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
But
Well,
he
by
had
the
said the
way,
same thing about me, so there
Oh
you go.
well.
no, but she was totally right, though. It
She
did.
was right.
So then actually, you know, I don't know, let me see if I can find this. I actually found, I sent Jennifer my version. I was like, I have an idea. Let me see if I can find this. This is November. I'll edit out the boringness of me looking. Hold on. Jennifer, okay. So this is, so I came up with a version, Never Could Say Goodbye, and I actually have a hard, so then I added the crazy riffs that, hold on, wait. I think I added your weird hello. Hold on. Yes.
Because I could think of that if I was
Do I have that too? Okay, hold on. This,
Oh,
by the
no.
way, the total.
But then you go. But then I remember when I came to your apartment, you had, "Is it so? Don't want to let you go." And then you had gone up there, and I went, "I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go."
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I thought, don't wanna let you go.
I'll never
or
forget,
don't
we were
wanna let
in the
you go.
basement of your apartment, and we were both like, like just kind of just so
I couldn't believe
excited.
she said she was going to literally just go, and by the way, I had it on an A, and she's like, can we please take it up a step? And I'm like, why would we take it up a step? She's like, it sits better. Then I'm like, how does it sit better in the most difficult, painful part of your voice? Like, I'm just telling you it does. So we came up with this crazy arrangement in the apartment, and the song did work better because instead of Signed, Sealed, Delivered, which is all about I give myself over to you, my slot machine, it was like I'm torn and tortured about the slot machine. So it actually, I feel dramatically, wasn't it better for you to act it?
It was, with all due respect, it was better for
The character.
for the script, for the story,
Yeah.
which you so beautifully wrote. And I'm so grateful to James for finding it. I'm so grateful to you, Seth, for the arrangement. In addition to this whole experience, which I owe to you completely.
It's
you and
all
Jack.
good.
But I'm so grateful to Clifton Davis, who came to see the show and
Who wrote it, and we were
that
terrified.
song. Well, we were like, please God, let him like what we did, and thank God he did.
Oh my god, he loved it. But we were really scared he was going to be like, I'm pulling the rights. No, but he actually loved it. So the point, anyway, so the show goes on, and, you know, it was one of those shows where everyone just loved each other, but definitely Jennifer's song. I mean, every night I would look across the stage, and Carrie Butler was always in the wings watching it, and then one wing back was Casey, one of the amazing dancers, doing the most amazing dance routine, like singing back up at the same time. We always used to watch. Did it make you nervous if we were always in the wings watching you?
What's great is until closing night, I didn't know that you were all in the
Okay, 'cause that would have panicked you.
I mean, I knew you were there because your entrance was next,
Yeah, I had to
but
crawl
I
on.
didn't know that Casey
No,
was
we
there.
all were watching you. So then, of course, you know, it was one of those horrible things where people, not horrible, but people keep saying, you're going to be Tony nominated. And people say that to everybody a lot when they're really good, but it is kind of pressure because if you're not, you're devastated. So on the actual day of the Tony nominations,
Yeah.
what the hell did you do to deal with the pressure?
Yeah, it was a really rainy day, and my husband and I decided to go to a public place.
Restroom?
A restroom, a public restroom. It's our thing. It's what we do. And it's all inclusive. It was a transgender event.
This is classic Jennifer, because Faith Prince, out of the blue, we were doing some interview and Faith was like, you know, there are ghosts in the Nederlander Theater. She's like, there was a male ghost in my dressing room. We're all like, okay, Faith. And then we got to Jennifer. And Jennifer, do you remember what you said?
I said, yes, his name is Walter, the ghost, and I'm dating him, Faith, so back on.
She totally yes ended it like so immediately. Anyway, I guess
But
go
no,
on.
we went to the gazebo in Cold Spring. My husband and I have a place up in that region, and we went to the gazebo, and because we'd be protected from the rain, and it happens to look across at West Point, where my brother Tom graduated in 1987. And I thought, I don't know if we'll always be in the same home, but presumably this gazebo will always be here. And if it's wonderful news, I can look at it and say, oh, that's where I found out I got a Tony nomination. And if it wasn't going to go my way, I could look across where I had so many happy family memories and keep my perspective and my joy and not get caught up in being too disappointed. And I didn't. My brother Chris was the first text I found. How I found out, and then my first text to someone was to Seth and James and my director Jack, and I said, my name is Jennifer Jean Simard. My initials are JJS, and today that stands for Jack, James, and Seth.
Isn't that the sweetest thing?
Because,
And before you think her initials are cool, Jennifer Simard, what did you want your stage name to be when you were a child?
Wait a minute, what was it? My JJ Striker. It sounds like I was a soccer player, a hooker,
And a male porn star.
and a male porn star. JJ Striker.